Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna try to make a quick video and it's gonna be very informal. I'm sorry, I'm here with my girls right now and I wanted to do a video on independent play because the topic came up recently with some of my friends that came over and they brought their kids, and anyhow, I thought it was a good topic to discuss. Obviously, this is based on my experience as a mother, a stay-at-home mom, and also on the things that I've read, you know, books that I've read, blogs that I've read, videos that I've watched, all that jazz. So I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you based on what I've read and experienced. Okay, so I want to start by saying that to me, the outdoors is a humongous playground and it's the best toy there is. So I feel like it's so important to go outside, no matter the day, no matter the weather. It's so important for children to go outside every single day and just allow them to have fun, get dirty, you know, and let them explore. The outside is, if you want independent play, the outside is your best friend, particularly if you have a backyard. And if you don't mind your child getting dirty. And like, that's why we have baths, that's why we have showers, that's why, you know, we have a washing machine. So let them go outside, let them get dirty and just enjoy life and have fun. So that's my tip number one, really. So there's gonna be times where your child needs more attention from you and, you know, wants to role play with you and wants you to sit there and play with them. And there's gonna be times where they wanna do it all by themselves. So you have to take that into consideration. And I feel like when your child wants attention, you should give it to them and have fun with it. I think it's important to take more of a passive role when it comes to play, but you know, let them lead the play, but still be there, be present, and you know, just pay attention to what their needs are. And I think that's important. What are you doing? So that's another thing I want to tell you guys. Okay, so let me just tell you guys a little bit of tips that have worked for me in the past. Number one is toy rotation. That's always worked for me. I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, you buy toys for your children. You want them to enjoy them, and they do enjoy them for a little while, but then they get kind of bored with them. Sorry. But then they get kind of bored with them and you're just like, what is going on? I'm following all the tips that everybody's telling me. I'm buying open-ended toys. I have blocks in a basket and, you know, all that stuff, and they're not using it. That's why I do toy rotation even with open-ended toys. I mean, that's all we have. But even with the amount of toys that we have, which isn't a lot, I still rotate toys. If your kids aren't playing with their toys, it's two signs that well, maybe three signs. Maybe that you have the wrong toys. Maybe you have a lot of electronic toys. I don't know. Or you need to do toy rotation, or you just need to get rid of some toys. Maybe you have too many toys out. When your kids have less toys out, I feel like they develop longer attention spans. They also are better. They're just better at being creative and focus longer. This is better overall. Too many choices, it makes it hard for a kid to, I feel like too many choices makes it hard for them to pick a toy and stick to it, and they end up just taking out all the toys and then they're just all over the place and they don't really play with any of them. So I probably rotate our toys maybe once every 2 weeks. I don't have a specific date or anything like that. I just kind of do it based on what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling at the moment, like what I'm seeing with Lyric particularly. Second thing I want to tell you guys is allow your children the time to play without any interruptions. And what I mean by that is when they're playing and when they're in that moment, you don't want to keep walking into the playroom or wherever they're at and saying, you know, how's it going? What are you doing? That looks like fun. Oh, that looks great. You know, because when they're just like really, really focused and you keep interrupting them, then they have to kind of start over. And so you don't want to do that. I came across that idea online at one point. I think it was from the Parenting Junkie. I don't know if you guys follow her channel, but she has a great channel. Okay, and then this one might not be so obvious, and it's something that I never really even it wasn't obvious for me. I feel like when toys are more visible, your children, at least my child, is more likely to play with them. So for example, I've added some shelving here. I've added this corner here of blocks, and this has been utilized probably more than anything else. When I moved from having these blocks in a basket to having them in this shelf, I swear guys, everything changed. I don't know why, but this was the best thing I did. Now Lyric, every day she plays with these blocks, whereas before they were in a big Boga basket, I think, or some other big basket, because I have unit blocks, so they were in some like bigger basket, and they just sat there sometimes and she wouldn't touch them. But for whatever reason, when I moved them into this shelf, everything changed, and so this is the best decision I've made. So yeah, you don't have to make shelves for everything, but I would say have some things visible, have some things on the walls, make your playroom more engaging and more fun, bright, lively, welcoming type of environment that you would want to be in, because sometimes you're going to be in the playroom and you're going to be playing with them, so it needs to be a space that you want to be in. And maybe that's in your living room, because sometimes we don't have a playroom, and that's okay. You can make a great corner with a great system where you have all the toys there and you guys can have a nice rug or whatever. And then another thing is, allow your child to be bored. Don't constantly entertain them. What I mean by entertaining them is, if they're bored and there's nothing to do, you don't need to put them in front of a screen, an iPad or the television or whatever right away. You don't need to do that. You can just let them be bored. It's very healthy for them to be bored, and eventually they will come up with something to play with. They will, maybe it's not the toys, maybe it's an art project or whatever, but they will come up with something. So allowing your child that time of boredom is very important. And at first they may come to you and tell you that they're bored and then they can't think of anything, and that's okay. Sometimes that has happened before with Lyric in the past, and I would usually go in the playroom with her, and then she'll say something like, I don't know what to do, and I say, oh, I don't know either, let's go in there and think about something. And so we'll go in there together, and usually what ends up happening is she comes up with something on her own, and then slowly but surely I slip away to do the things that I need to do. So boredom is important. Which brings me to my next point, is having an art station for your child. I mentioned this before, but I think having a messy station is so important. And I saw this again on the Parenting Junkies, one of her videos, the 3 play zones, I believe. Having an art station is important because sometimes your kids don't want to play with their toys. Sometimes they want to do something else, and allowing them the freedom just to go to their desk and get some paper and some pencils and draw is just great. So I'll give you guys an example. My husband told me the other day that he thought it was amazing. He thought it was great that Lyric had, she has access to all her art supplies whenever she wants. Not every single one of them, but most of them. Because when he was a child, he didn't. And, he usually had to ask his mom, because his mom was worried mainly about him making a mess. So he went days without drawing anything. Sometimes he went weeks without really painting or drawing or any of that stuff. Lyric, there's not one day that doesn't go by that she doesn't either draw something with a pencil, paint, plays with clay, kinetic sand, whatever, any kind of art supplies. So having an art station will help. The next thing I want to tell you guys is, usually I'm the type of person that when Lyric is playing, I don't go in there and tell her, oh, you're making a mess, or pick up that before you get to the next toy. I don't do any of that unless it's they're throwing paint all over the place or something like that. But if they're playing with their toys, and maybe they have 3 or more toys out at the same time, maybe they're playing with only one, but the other 2 they're not playing with, but they're still engaged, I don't go in there and interrupt that and say you need to clean up the other toys. I actually just allow her to allow her time, and then at the end of playtime, and when she's actually fully done playing, is when I will, you know, help her clean up, and we'll do like cleanup time or something. So that's what I do. And thank you. Sometimes kids just need to be left alone and let them just have fun. You know, things are gonna happen, and not every moment doesn't have to be a stressed out moment about oh gosh, look how dirty, look how crazy it is in here. I have to clean up before you just have to let things slide. Put it that way. You just have to let things slide sometimes. I mean, obviously there are limitations. You want to set limitations, but there's always a cleanup time. That's all I'm saying. All right, sorry guys, I had to change locations. We're outside now. The weather's great, and yeah. So, like I was saying, the thing that has helped me with Lyric a lot is that she still takes naps 2 days, like 2 hours every day. But there are times where she doesn't feel like taking a nap, and that's okay. So what I usually do is I give her 2 options, and I tell her she either can have nap time or she could have quiet time. And I do that because if I if during that time is the stuff that I need to get done, like I need to pay my bills or whatever I need to do, if you can start even with 5-10 minutes and then work your way up a little bit with your child, something's better than nothing. And it's just good practice. And during that quiet time is a time for them to be bored and come up with something to play with. They can go outside, they can draw, they can, you know, do a lot of different things. Which brings me to my next point, which is to limit screen time. And I know some people aren't going to agree with me, and that's okay. Everybody does things very differently, and you need to figure out what works for your family. But for our family, we do limit screen time. It's not even really that I limit it, is that it doesn't even come up really, because we spend so much time outside and we spend so much time doing other things that TV isn't like a priority in our home. TV isn't like an important thing in our house. We actually don't even have a television. We have a TV in our office, but it's used as a computer monitor. For me, I've noticed a major changes with Lyric when she watches too much television. Now I don't know what too much is, because everybody's different, but I will tell you guys that I've noticed that when screen time is limited, she is more likely to play independently, to be more creative, to focus longer, and just enjoy herself. So you just have to find a good balance and figure out what works for your family, for your kids. And the last thing I'm going to say is just remember to keep your expectations realistic. You know, if your child is not used to playing by themselves, if they're not used to playing independently, don't expect them to play for a full hour by themselves and wonder why they're not doing it. You know, every kid is different. Every kid has different wants and needs, and so you just kind of have to take that into consideration and start slow. Start with, you know, a few minutes and kind of work your way up from there. Have an environment that's inviting, that has open-ended toys, that allows for imaginative play, that is bright and exciting for a child. Take them outside, introduce them to natural materials. They don't have to play with the actual, like, technically toy per se. They can play with rocks and dirt. Believe me, mud is one of my kids' favorite toys, even my baby. So that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little longer than I thought. I hope you guys can relate to some of the things that I talked about, and you find these tips helpful. And I'm sure probably gonna think of other things after I'm done filming this video. But if you think of anything, comment down below. I will see you on the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Sure.